Hey everybody, Sumi here to talk a bit about the co-op event coming up in Genshin Impact in the next couple of days. I'm just going to touch on the important parts first to give you guys an idea of what's going on. Elemental Crucible, blah blah blah. Basically, we're spending original Resin, yuck, to get character EXP and adventure EXP. So I'm assuming what this means is it's going to be similar to a regular domain. My assumption is that we're going to spend 20 resin like a domain does to get 100 adventure rank EXP. Typically you can expect to get about 100 adventure rank EXP per 20 resin spent. That seems to be the rate of return right now. Spending 40 at a boss gives 200, world boss gives 300, etc, etc. Bounties will be calculated based on the Traveler's World level. So this line here is really good, but it also will probably trigger a bit of FOMO, which is fear of missing out. So before you do anything else, I do want to advise against trying to rush to a higher world level unless you're very close. The reason being is you're going to be better off saving your fragile resin to use during the event rather than trying to use it now to squeeze out like a higher world level if you're like 4 levels off, for example. If you're adventure rank 31, you probably don't want to try to get to 35 by the start of this event. That's typically what I'm going for here. Or in my case, I'm adventure rank 38. I am not going to burn Primo to try to get to 40 before this starts. I'm assuming I'll hit 40 during the event instead. That seems to be the way to go. And also it looks like there are going to be some overarching themes here with some different quests to do related to the event. It's going to give Primo gems and character ascension materials. So I believe you can look at this in two ways, honestly. We're getting Primo gems. So you can either use these Primo gems for pulls, which I think a lot of people will do because the gacha system's a little bit on the greedy side. Everybody's having a hard time getting their 5 stars unless they're spending a lot. So if you're a free-to-play player, you're looking at these Primo gems and maybe thinking like, wow, I'd really like to use these to pull for some better characters. The approach I'm going to take is actually the opposite. I haven't spent very much on the game, so these Primo gems are nice, but what I'm thinking is this event spans for 6 days and 18 hours exactly. We've got this down here, right? So, over the course of this event, that's 162 hours, which roughly breaks down into, got this calculated, 1,215 resin is how much resin you're going to earn over the life of this event. So what we can assume from that is if these are 20 resin per reward claim, you'll be able to claim 60.75 times. So 60 times basically. You'll get 60 claims out of this event just for free if you're using all of your resin on specifically this. However, since it spans for just over 6 days, so 7, we'll just call it 7 days because you'll see 7 resets over the life of the event if you're really tracking it. Every day you'll be able to use Primo gems for the first reset, which will only cost 50, so you can get an additional 60 resin per day with 50 Primo gems, and that number scales up as you reset every day at a cap of 6. So I think the first time you reset in a day and get 60 resin costs 50 Primo gems, the second time is 100, etc, etc. So I think the way to go here is probably going to be burn all of your resin and then use at least 1 Primo reset per day. It's hard to justify doing more, we'll have to look at the rewards, but the 50 Primo for 60 resin is the best deal you're going to get right now. So my recommendation again would be burn all of your resin in the event and then use 50 Primo gems per day, every day of the course of the event to get an additional 60. That's going to amplify up what you can do by quite a bit. Let's see, if we say the event is 7 days was what we said, and that's an additional 3 runs per day. So that bumps it from 60 or 60 claims, basically 60 times claiming this, up to 81 if you just spend 50 Primo a day. So what, 7 times 50 is 350. 350 Primo is just over 2 pulls. You can, if you exchange your 2 pulls, you'll be able to get 25% more out of this event, or 33% more, whatever the math is there. So that's probably how I would go about approaching this. Obviously you need to be ranked 20, and obviously you'll need to complete this quest. One thing I do want to point out is that typically gacha games like this, when they have an event that's related around having to burn stamina, resin, sanity, whatever this system is in said game, typically they will give you a few fragile resin in this case, just to help you kind of coast along the event. So I would assume we'll probably get 2 to 3 fragile resin a day during the event. That's being optimistic. But really quickly, let's also pop over here so we can kind of talk about the adventure rank thing I was mentioning earlier. So if you're cycling this event appropriately, and you're getting the adventure rank EXP by burning all of your resin, if we take a look, you can see that as you level up, at this level at least, you're getting 2 fragile resin per adventure rank. And let's see how far back that goes. 2, not here, you get 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. So it looks like all the way back here, okay, we're only getting 1 at this point, 2 for 27. I wonder how they decided to sort this out. Why wouldn't you just give 2 for all of these? And we're getting 2 back here. I've never noticed that. It kind of alternates between giving 1 and 2 fragile resin. But anyway, if you really try to min-max and squeeze the adventure rank EXP out of the event, you'll also end up getting fragile resin just naturally as you level and do your daily quest along with the event, which will give you some more resets. So I'm assuming once every 3 days, 2 to 3 days, once you get to 35 or so, you'll be able to level up. So, you know, just a little more icing on the cake with whatever they give us in the mail to help us out. So that's pretty much it. I think you just want to try and squeeze as much value out of this as you can. Again, use your 50 Primo Gems per day that you get just from doing your daily quests. That's kind of something that I don't think a lot of people are doing. I wasn't doing it until a friend brought it up to me, but you get 60 Primo just for doing your daily quests and turning them in. So that's enough to get you 1 reset a day. I know people like to save it because you can get basically a 10 pull a month. But beyond that, if we go to the shop, if you spend nothing else on this game, I highly recommend you buy this $5 pass because it's giving you 90 a day. So you can use this 90 or 50 of this 90 to do your resin reset. And if you're really feeling saucy, you can do your daily quest for the 60, get your 90 from this, and that's enough to reset resin twice. So it's an extra 120 resin per day. Obviously, the second one's a lot more expensive than the first one just because math. But, you know, that's basically you exchanging your free pull every day for 120 resin to help push the characters you already have, which sounds pretty good to me right now, considering it's like 0.6% chance to get a 5-star anyway. Let's be realistic here. But you are building towards the pity counter, so that's a decision you'll have to make for yourself. But yeah, overall pretty hyped for the co-op event. I don't think it's going to be as greedy as people are making it out to be. I don't think resin's going to be the huge issue that it has been up to this point. I assume they'll give us some per day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or want me to cover anything like this in the future, let me know down below. Leave a like if this helped you at all. Hopefully this helped calm your nerves and get over the fear of missing out aspect. You don't have to rush. Everything's going to be fine. It's a fun game. It's a PvE game. You don't have to worry so much. It's totally okay. But yeah, feel free to subscribe for more content in the future. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for your time and have a good night.